music with your meal, Tuco?
Music? Yes, it's very good. Very good for the digestion.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
You know, we're always quickest to doubt people who have a reputation for being honest.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Could be a monkey or a orangutan.
A bald monkey? Is he a pig? He sure eats like one.
It's the Al Travis Show, and we're lucky to have our next guest and friends to be. You're currently muted, just so you know. Alysen Nesse, and I appreciate her coming to the program. Alysen, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. As we're getting ready for this, I've read some info about you. I want to share. We're going to get to know Alysen a little bit. But the first question that came to mind when I even saw your name, did your parents spell Alysen that way? Is that something you did as a middle school gal trying to get cute with your Alysen? Is that your folks'?
Yeah, I had no choice in the matter. It was
See, that's people my age. And I will remember this. We were in like junior high, and everyone decided there had to be new ways of spelling old names. Now, Al, it's always been Al. But that's neither here nor there. But then it was Y's where eyes could be, and then when people kept their eyes, they did like the smiley face. Did you do all the weird stuff signing your name?
Oh, absolutely. I was in the 90s in grade school, so we got gel pens. We did everything. But
all right, fair enough. Your history, and I'm not going to remember. You went to Concordia, right? Where did you go to school?
I went to undergrad at UW Eau Claire. Okay. So go Blue Golds.
My kid went there for 1 quarter. Why'd you handle that hill? That hill is nuts. I couldn't believe you picked to go there when I went to Father-Dad Day or whatever and tried to walk up there. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that hill kept me honest freshman year.
Okay, fair enough. That for folks who don't know, you got to go up like 7 stories straight uphill to go to class and come back. Have you always been politically minded? Let's go through some of your history. You've worked in Minneapolis, the city of Minneapolis, for a while. Give me your background.
Yeah. So, I was having political debates with my friends in about 6th grade. So I would say I've always been politically minded. Actually, when I ran for student council in 4th grade, my slogan was "Vote for Al, your pal." So I used to be an Al.
Bumper sticker maker, and right away. I love that.
Yeah. But, always involved in student government, and then also in student government in college. And then I joined AmeriCorps for a year, and I worked at a nonprofit in Minneapolis called Summit Academy. It's a construction trades training organization, and that got me interested in kind of this workforce economic development. So I moved out to New York City and went to graduate school there, studied public policy, but I worked at the city of New York under mayors Bloomberg and then de Blasio. Okay. And then, like most Minnesotans, I moved back home to Minneapolis, and I worked for the city of Eden Prairie, and then the city of Minneapolis for 6 years.
So what in Minnesota, where did you grow up? What do you call home?
Maple Grove.
Maple Grove. That's wonderful place. All right. So you're doing all this stuff. You find yourself in political life, and you say since 4th grade. Were your parents political? I guess mine. I don't remember any politics talks in my home until I started doing it later in life.
Yeah, my parents were political. They were both, union members. My mom's an actress and my dad is a technician. So there was always political discussion in the house. Okay. And so that's why. They didn't force anything on me, though.
No, that's fair. But an actress, if we seen her in something or you plays what it was, I would know your mama.
If you have been to Chanhassen dinner theaters.
Love the Chanhassen.
You have definitely seen Marianne Gleason is her stage name. She's retired now, but she did a lot.
Yeah. Love the Chanhassen. All right. So, and I'm just to union folks, you were raised to the left. Am I being as
absolutely?
Yeah.
Yep. They're long line of DFL members of my family. So yeah, a lot of farmers.
Fair enough. All right, fair enough. And before we go to break, we'll talk politics on the other side. I just want to get to know you a little bit. Minnesotan Nesse is the family name. So hockey, you're into hockey. What else are you into?
Love hockey. Love all Minnesota sports. I truly mean it. Especially our highest winning sports team, the Minnesota Lynx. But I don't miss many games. Depending.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I throw the hockey thing out like I knew this. I didn't know this until minutes before we went in there. But like your grandfather is the first domed hockey guy. Tell me that story, because I think that is fantastic.
So my great grandpa, his name was Alysen Nesse. He built or helped, was part of the team that built the first indoor hockey rink in Roseau, Minnesota. So
see, that's some lineage going on there. That's street cred in Minnesota, as we like to say.
We go way back. Yeah.
All right. Well, you're politically minded now. You've done a few things. This Pathway Home Act in 2023, I read you got that passed or helped get that passed. You're a player. I want to ask you your thoughts from your side on what's going on here in the state of Minnesota. Can we do that on the other side of the break?
Absolutely.
Alysen Nesse on the Al Travis Show.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Chanhassen Dinner Theater's gift cards make perfect holiday gifts because everyone loves the gift of live entertainment used for any current or upcoming show, incredible concerts, Stevie Ray's Comedy Cabaret, or main stage musicals like White Christmas or the upcoming high-rolling Broadway hit, Guys and Dolls. Chanhassen Dinner Theater's gift cards are available in any amount, never expire, and are always the right size and color. Easy too. Order by phone or online at chanhassendt.com. Chanhassen Dinner Theaters, always entertaining you.
Easily offended? The Al Travis Show is not for you. The Al Travis Show. All sides are welcome.
Latest friend of the group is Alysen Nesse. We love to have her on. Alysen, talk a little bit about this last weekend. I'm much older than you. There's no doubt about that. So maybe the history isn't there. But even in your lifetime, I'll say most of mine, I don't remember a weekend, let's say Thanksgiving till even today, this long a time, as much bad press for Minnesota as we have gotten on a national level, locally in the state. This is, and it starts with a shame on the president. I'm going to throw that out there. Using very derogatory language. He doesn't have to like Walls. I don't really care about the relationship, but that language is wrong. Yeah. So I'm putting it out there. You know what? I try to be very honest. We don't use that in my home. We're not going to. I don't want the president using it. Governor goes back and forth about, they're arguing about MRIs and he's, not the smartest guy. And at the same time, the New York Times comes out with an article that said, look what's going on. Now, if you're living in Minnesota, this I don't think was necessarily news. X gets a letter 37 million people, and that's viral. I mean, 37 million. And the hits just keep coming. We talk more today. Your thoughts on the avalanche of spotlight is being thrown on us here in Minnesota?
Well, I can't say I'm surprised. I will be honest, and I think that
Really?
not, it's
The
a
New
lot
York
of-
Times wrote an article like that against the guy who was running for vice president on quote unquote their side.
I think that you cannot ignore the severity of the fraudulent the fraud in Minnesota that's happened among so many different human services programs. And I think as anyone with journalistic integrity has to report on that. It is hundreds of millions of public taxpayer dollars, and it is wrong. It is a story. So I guess I wasn't super surprised, but
Well, let me ask you this then, Alysen, because you are being very honest here, and I love this.
Yeah.
A lot of Minnesotans didn't know the governor, all about the governor, until he ran for VP, and then we had some very big stories come out. Do you think the press in Minnesota gives the rest of us a really good overall view of what's going on? Because, like, say, this is a lot of very big stuff, and now it's being acted like it. Well, we've been living here for 7-8 years.
Yeah. I think the best summation I've heard is that we have been getting these stories for years, starting with the childcare fraud back in the early 2010s. But what we haven't had is a national publication like the New York Times to kind of do a 30,000 square foot view and a summation of everything. And frankly, they're less biased. They're in New York. And so when you take all of these piecemealed things together and put it into one package and look at it, it's pretty astounding. Yeah.
Oh, it absolutely is. We're in Minnesota, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
I remember last time we had a Republican in the top 5, right? And we just don't do it. Is this enough, though? Is this the sort of thing when you see that summation, you're going, is it seismic enough to make a difference? I'm not going to call the election 12 months out, but is it that seismic that there could be?
I think I do think that it makes Walz the most vulnerable he could be. Yes, I do. But I don't. The reason that Democrats continue to win so successfully in Minnesota is the quality of candidates that the Republicans put forward. Just are not electable. I'm sorry. It just
you don't have to apologize. We're out here living this every day. I don't disagree with that. What's interesting about this is even if this wasn't it, I'm going to throw my 2 cents out. Even if it wasn't this magnitude of that, we have some fraud here. You take that we spend so much money on education and our numbers are going in the wrong direction. If you take the idea that we just put the biggest budget ever together, I think if we were a normal state, you'd then say it's a toss-up, right? This is an opportunity for the guy who's already been there twice. We don't generally go 3. There was already headwinds against us in my book, but we didn't even talk about those other things now. Fraud is the issue, correct? I mean, there's nothing else to discuss today.
Not today, no.
Can we get there in the next 11 months before election time?
I think so. I definitely think so. I try to take my temperature with my whole group of friends who have nothing to do with politics, and just to see what's on their radar. And they're kind of aware of it, but they're still focused on other issues that are impacting their families every day and their lives. So.
Oh yeah, and this is a midterm, and if the economy doesn't get better, obviously that swings things their way. But will this election, as we sit 11 months out, is this about bad orange guy, or is it about bad management in Minnesota? And I guess after this weekend, I got to tell you, I think it's leaning toward bad management in Minnesota. That can switch. We're 12 months out.
I was going to say, I think that there's a lot of time. There's a lot of time between now and November 2026. But I think in Minnesota will be a really unique test case because of the management in Minnesota. But Democrats are doing well everywhere else, even in Tennessee last night, cutting a 20-point Trump district in half. So it's really going to be race by race in this state.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now I'm going to ask you the other, it's a polarizing question, but you live up there. I was shocked. Right-wing knucklehead, doesn't understand life. I get it. When the ICE / Department of Human Services, whatever it was, and St. Paul Police We're after some guy. One guy, a Honduran guy, evidently he's here illegally, and he has some crime. They went to get him. He got in a house in St. Paul. They're there, and 60 people showed up to protest that or tried to get involved. When I say that, we have tear gas, the rubber bullets, we had rocks thrown. And I watched this, and it's one thing, I guess you see it in Washington or you see it somewhere else. But here it is in the old home state of Minnesota, and I can't get my head around the idea that I could ever pick up a rock and throw it at a cop. I'm just to the point, are we so far down this road? 12 months ago, these guys worked for the other guy. This wasn't Orange Guy's troops, right? These aren't all new. And 3 years from now, they might be going after your guys' neck, Kamala's guys, and now we'll like them again. I don't know how you turn that on off. I don't know how we get to this point, and I don't know how you get back. Your thoughts? Am I overplaying this with your rocks at cops in Minnesota?
No, I'm a student of history, and I really liken the times that we're in right now to a lot of the protests in the 60s and Vietnam. And I do think we can get back, but it is going to be painful. And I think we haven't been at a time in many people's adult lives that are still with us where the government has come and forcefully ripped apart families, and it is causing just a level of stress and fear that is untenable. I do not condone throwing anything at officers ever.
It's just funny we have to say that out loud.
Yeah,
we don't condone that. Of course we don't.
Okay. That is not okay. But
let me ask this question to put folks in a box.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't want to rip families apart. You use such colorful language. Thank you for that. I love when you do that. Rip families apart. What is the answer? Vietnam is an interesting comparison. We want out of the war. It's in the war. It's out of the war. There was this, right? I mean, there was a binary choice. It doesn't kind of get out. You're not kind of pregnant. How do we ask those who are not here, having followed the rules? People hate it when you use illegal immigrants. If you're here and you didn't do it correctly, what is the answer? If you're not going to walk out the door because we asked you to, we must come get you. I don't know. There's a lot of ways of doing this. So what is the answer to the problem?
Yeah, I think the piece that's never really brought into the equation is the employers. American employers depend so heavily on undocumented workers, and we have such a broken immigration system. And so we either have to fix it. We have to acknowledge that this country needs immigrants. It's our foundation. And we have to fix it at the federal level where all of that law lies. And we have to have employers be a really strong voice around it, because they're the ones, frankly, they're the biggest piece of the puzzle. So.
Well, I don't disagree, but I'm going to look at it from the other side. And this will get me in trouble with my right-wingers, by the way. I think all these employers who are employing people here without the proper paperwork should be fined until they stop doing it again. Fine the living bejesus out of them, because you know what? If you're paying them under the table, they're not paying their taxes in, or you're paying them under market value because you can, because of that. We're using them as slave labor, paying them minimum. But so I'm on the side. Great. Let's get businesses involved. Let's start beating the heck out of them with fines and the stuff until they decide we can't do it. And then that does dry up. Those jobs aren't here. Then we're having a whole different conversation. I agree with you, but probably from the other end. America can survive on Americans. We're not a floundering country that doesn't have the ability to do our thing. Do we not like doing some jobs? Yeah, you're going to have to pay more for it to get people to do it. I don't disagree. I'm running out of time.
All right.
Is that okay? Was our conversation good? This is our first time we've ever met and done this, and you seem... I want to say remarkably charming, like I didn't think you'd be charming. You're very charming. You use that colorful language of your side, which I love, because it's like put people in a box with your language. I love that. I appreciate you doing the show. I really do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Live on the air to put you in a box so we can do it again sometime?
Sounds good. Yeah,
I love it. All right. Alysen Nesse on the Al Travis Show.
When the stakes are high at the Minnesota